Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, July 26th, 2021 at 11 a.m. for the Egoscue class with Kimberly Sabat. Have a good workout. Here you go, Kimberly. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to do a couple of different things. We're going to stray from Egoscue just a little bit at the end. We've done it before, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to start out. Let's go over some of the things we're going to be using today. We're definitely going to use a strap. So I want you to grab a belt off of your pants or somebody else's pants. Ladies, no fashion belt and no PT strap. You want to have a lot of resistance. So when I push on the belt or when you push on the belt, it doesn't go anywhere. The other thing you want to use is a pillow or a block. I have Egoscue blocks. You might have yoga blocks. You want to have a lot of resistance on that too. So if you're taking a pillow off of your bed, fold it in half or even in thirds, because when we use it, we don't want it to succumb to the pressure that we put on it. Other thing that we're going to be using today is going to be a chair, about 24 to 26 inches in height. You can use an ottoman as well. We're going to be doing some laying down things, some sitting down things. The last thing, I want you to grab a pen. You're going to take a pen. If you don't have a pen, you're going to use the tip of your thumb, because we're going to do some eyesight and nervous system work to help with proprioception. I know it's such a big word. Break out your dictionaries. Use that too. Those of you that are new, we're going to be working on the posture today, and posture is not good or bad. It just is. So whatever you've given your body over the years, your body adapts to that stimulus. And sometimes it adapts in a very crooked way to try and be as efficient as it can be. And if the body ends up staying crooked and cannot get back to neutral, that's when problems arise. So what we're going to do is give you some stimulus so that the body can auto-correct. That's all that Egoscue is. It's just, think of it like corrective exercise. If anything is too difficult for you to do, skip it. I'll give as many modifications as I can, if I can think of them. And if something hurts in the bad way, skip it. Again, I'll give as many modifications as I can, but I don't live in your body. You do. So let's start out in a standing position, everybody. And let's just do an assessment. God, we haven't done an assessment in the longest time. So just do an assessment, see where you show up today. In every move, I like to think of every Egoscue move as a functional test. You can always see where your body is showing up, whether you're on the floor, hands and knees, standing, kneeling, laying on your back. See how your body is showing up and feel what's touching the floor, what's not touching the floor. Because as you give yourself different exercises, it's going to change. It adapts pretty quickly. So I'm just standing where I feel neutral and then checking it out. Do I feel like my weight's more in one leg than the other, more front to back, inside, outside? Functional test time. I'm going to pick one knee up to the height of my hip. It doesn't matter which one. And just see what happens. Do your shoulders twist? Do you start to fall down? Are you having an easier time on one side than the other? Which leg did you pick up first? Usually if you pick up one leg first all the time, that's a signal that you're leaning heavily into one leg rather than the other. And that can change. So we're going to do these tests later on too as well. I'm going to do a forward fold. So I'm just going to stand and see where I hit. Oh, I feel a little more tightness in one side than I do on the other. I know I'm off balance. Anybody else feel stuff like that? Just feel where you show up. And not a bad idea to just take a look down, see where your feet are showing up. Your feet might be pointing out, might be pointing in. You might even be able to see your kneecaps. Are they coming in? Are they coming out? Where do they want to go? Just notice. Now we're going to start out with our first move. We're going to stand at the wall. Nice, easy one. I want you to take your heels to the wall. If you don't have a wall, you're going to take it to the door. I'm going to stand on this wall just so you can see me from the side, those of you that are new. Some of you have a different shape in your behind than others. You know, we're all different. So if your behind is forcing this to happen while you're standing at the wall, I want you to walk your feet forward an inch or two. The point of having the wall is to trap the body in a vertical line, ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders. So again, if your butt is making it so that your hips come out further than your ankles, I want you to walk your feet away from the wall just to get your ankles right under your hips. That's the point of standing at the wall. I'm going to turn the feet straight ahead, a little bit wider than a fist distance between your big toes. I'm going to hang out here for 4 minutes. I'm not trying to fix anything here. Again, like I said earlier, I use that word stimulus. We're going to stimulate the body in different ways and it will auto-correct itself. Some of you have been doing standing at the wall with me for a while. You might like standing at the wall pigeon-toed. You know what standing at the wall pigeon-toed does. So if you have a tendency to go really flat in your lower back and you have that rounding tendency, if you go pigeon-toed at the wall, that is turning the feet inward. That's actually going to force both hips to do something more symmetrically, which is going to pull both sides of your pelvis forward into an anterior tilt. You're going to start feeling that in your lower back. But the great thing about this is an all over body exercise. Just because we're trapping the legs in this way doesn't mean we're just working on the legs. Because as the position of the hips change, the position of the pelvis must then change. The position of the spine must then change. And then the position of the head must also change. I'm really liking standing pigeon-toed today, so I'm going to keep up with this. And I think my block might even be in the way. No, it's actually, you could see okay. Either way, when you're standing at the wall, you want to keep your feet pointed straight ahead. You don't want to try and force your head against the wall. We're just letting whatever touches the wall touch it, and the body's going to adjust itself. Don't try to force anything. I'm standing pigeon-toed. So I'm keeping both of my thighs tight because I want this to go up the chain. Now, if I bend my knees, all of a sudden the pelvis starts to come out. Tightening the thighs will lock your knees and it will place all of that leverage on the hips. And that's what we're going after. We want that change to come up through the hips. Good. Just 2 more minutes, everybody. Everybody feel your body kind of seeking, hunting is what I call it, as the body rearranges itself to adjust to the new stimulus you're giving it. You might feel your weight going from one side to the other side. You might actually have to adjust, like I just had to move my foot because my weight was shifting so much. The tissues are adapting quite quickly. So if you feel like you need to wiggle a little bit or replace your feet, go for it. Like I said earlier, everybody, all of these moves are also functional tests. You can arrive back at them at any time and retest yourself. Where does my body show up in this move now that I've done A, B, C, D? Where does my body show up here now that I've done D, E, F? This is how you can become your own expert. And that's the important thing. I can tell you how many times it's not a bad thing to put somebody in the expert position and ask them for their opinion, but don't lean too heavily on it. You've got to go for different opinions so that you can get information, so that you can be the ultimate expert. Remember, these decisions are up to you. Don't just make a decision based on what one expert says. The more you know, the more you can become your own expert. And that's the key. So when you have more information, you know what's best. Great, everybody. Come out of this one. I'm going to take you to a hands and knees pose. If you cannot do hands and knees, you might want to come onto your chair and sit down. I'm going to do a little static extension position. If you can't do hands and knees, another option is placing your hands on the wall. We're just going to do static extension position. So you're going to go arm distance away from the wall and you're going to drop your shoulder blades together. And that's another option for static extension position. We're going to hold this one for 2 minutes, friends. You're going to come to your hands and knees position. Make sure your knees are hip distance apart, please, hip distance. A lot of people tend to go too narrow or too wide. Hip distance is only as wide as the joints in your hips. So straight out of that line should be the center line of your knees, a little bit bigger than my fist. My hands are right underneath my shoulders. Some of you end up here and you think, oh yeah, sure, I'm straight. Some of you end up here and you think, yeah, I'm straight. Sometimes you need another pair of eyes. If your wrists hurt today, you can come onto your fists. I'm going to move the hands 6 inches forward, palm where fingertips are. Then I'm going to shift my weight 6 inches forward. So you see how my hips come 6 inches forward of my knees. That's so I can turn on my hip flexors. Think like a sway back horse, shoulder blades come together, head drops. Keep your elbows nice and straight. If your elbows want to bend, and this is getting really difficult for you to do, you can stance your hand position wider than shoulder width. That's going to help your shoulder blades retract a little easier. Under load like this, it tends to be a little difficult, especially if our shoulders aren't used to loading. If you are new to this move, static extension position, you can also do it on your elbows. The other thing is you don't have to do it for 2 minutes. You can do it for 10 seconds. You could do it for 30 seconds. Just do what you can. I always like to look in between my knees and make sure my ankles are the same width apart from each other as my knees. Tendency is for your ankles to come in closer to each other because the hip does not know how to load. So you feel a little bit unbalanced. So the body automatically, without you even thinking about it, brings the ankles into a different position to make your base wider. And that'll keep you more stable. But we don't want to do that. We want to stay in line with the hips so that the muscles that are supposed to stabilize you and keep you balanced do their work. I can tell you, the body is very good at being efficient. It's lazy. It does that on purpose. It's trying to conserve energy. Super important. That's how the body works. So it will avoid using certain muscle groups if it can. But in the long run, that doesn't end up being very good for us. We start breaking down. Great. Come out of it, everybody. Beautiful. I'm going to take you down onto the floor. We're going to do some frog pullovers. Good old basics. Good old basics. But we're going to do some toughies later on. I am going to take my roll. Actually, I'm going to test myself here. Yes. Okay. I'm going to take my roll and put it underneath my lower back. This is only for me because I know I have a flat back. If you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, then you're not going to use a roll. So I roll up a towel sometimes, or I have my foam roll. I put it underneath my lower back because my lower back has a tendency to flatten now. So I want it to remember how to keep that nice curve. It's not for everybody, not for everybody. Okay, reach the arms up to the sky, straighten out your elbows, move just through your shoulders, let your arms drop backwards overhead, and then back over your chest. We're gonna go after this for 2 minutes. I don't care how many you do. This is gonna be timed. I want you to keep your elbows nice and straight. This is a movement for your shoulder, but it's also recruiting muscles all the way down your back into your hips. That's why we put the legs in this position, why we're doing this arm exercise. Again, if you're new, don't worry about the roll underneath your lower back. That's for people that have been with me for a while and they happen to know their posture. They happen to know where their body likes to deviate towards, or they've had a conversation with me, or maybe they're just older students that have been with me for a while. If you're new, do not worry about the whole towel thing. But if you want to give it a shot, you may. It may make things worse. It may make things better. All we can do is try. But since I can't see everybody and everybody's posture, I can't know. Some of you have put a roll underneath your lower back and realized, ooh, God, that made it worse. Okay, so no roll for you. Starting to hit the wall. It's gonna move my position here. Make sure you're not bending your elbows, everybody. I've got a left shoulder that's still a little bum. I am not bending my elbows to hit the floor. The cruddy thing is when a shoulder gets stuck, it's going to kind of screw up the back. So the back has to overcompensate for that and all the muscles in that area. So other things start getting tight and, so keeping these things moving and progressing is really important. My pullovers are really important and yours are too. I hope you're noticing over the course of these 2 minutes that you're getting a little bit of a change. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to give you some nice stretches. I'm actually going to remove my roll. I'm going to take you into hip crossover stretch. This is an oldie and a goodie. Hip crossover stretch. I'm going to bring my arms out to a T and put my palms face down. So my arms are out in this nice T shape. Wrist, elbow, shoulder, shoulder, elbow, wrist. They're all in a straight line. My knees are bent. This is the hook lying position. I'm going to cross my right ankle to my left knee. And I'm not going to slide my left foot anywhere. Let me show you that alignment from the side. Ankle stays in place, same line as your hip. If this is too hard for you, you're going to stay here. If this is easy peasy, we're going to go a little further. Twist through your lower back and let your legs fall to the left. I'm going to turn my gaze to the right, so I'm looking at my right hand. The other thing I'm doing is I'm using my butt muscles here to point my right knee to the sky. So I'm taking an outward rotation. I'm not letting my right knee fall in towards my chest. That outward rotation is not letting the leg fall in. It's pointing the knee to the sky. Try to adhere to 90-degree angles. I'm going to stay here for another 30, 40 seconds. There's a nuance I learned about 3 years ago, and I didn't realize I was doing this as correctly as I could have been. My right foot was everted, and somebody else had to show me and said, wow, Kim, your foot is not in line with your knee. So they pointed my foot dead ahead, and whoa, the muscles in my arch of my foot started turning on. So if you have another set of eyes around, maybe ask them to take a look. Hey, is my kneecap tracking straight over my feet, my toes? And have them keep that foot tracking straight. They might have to adjust your foot and you'll realize, ooh, look at that nuance. Hip crossover stretch is totally different now. Great, we're going to come out of this, come to the other side. Very important that when you come out, you set up again. Put your feet in line with your hips, get nice and straight, then cross the ankle over. And if you did so on the other side, twist. 1 minute. Another great nuance is think about spreading across your wingspan. So you want to keep the hands nice and open and active. You want to try and get some length from tip to tip. And then you'll start to feel something happening in your shoulders. That's the other key to this move. Everything is connected. Beat you guys up the past 2 weeks. I'm going to beat you up neurologically towards the end. We're going to do that. No, it's not Rev and Mo. It's I borrowed it from Z Health. It's a great routine. Fantastic. Come on out, everybody. Very nice. Okay. I'm going to roll over onto your side. I don't care which one, but just for cueing purposes, I'm going to put you guys into upper spinal floor twist. I'm on my left side. I'm going to hug your knees in deep to about 90 degrees. No, not about, Kim. 90 degrees, period. End of story. Put your left hand on top of the knees. You want to keep them in this beautiful vertical stack. You don't want them to slide. So if I use my left hand, I can feel both of my knees are touching my hand. You don't want that top knee to slide back. My top arm is going to open just like a book. See that beautiful alignment that I have? Wrist, elbow, shoulder, shoulder. Keep that alignment. Twist, open. I'm going to hold here for 1 minute. It is not important that you hit the floor. Yes, that's the direction that we are going. But if your shoulder and your arm and your back hit the floor, you are a cheater. I want you to double check that your hips and your knees are stacked. If this is too much leverage on your shoulder, you can rest your hand on your rib cage. That'll take the leverage off. You can also rest your arm on a couch or pile up some pillows. and rest your arm there. This might be a lot for you. This is a stretch that the body should be able to handle. This is also work. You might feel it on the hip that's on the floor. There's a lot of work, a lot of leverage coming off of that hip. So this is actually hip flexor activator as well. So as good as this book pose feels, there's a working pose. And an uninjured body should be able to go through this no problem. So if you notice any of the moves today are difficult to do, then we know, hey, we're in a bit of compensation. I'm going to switch to the other side. Yes, you can hold these moves for longer than a minute. So if you're doing this after we have recorded, you can pause and hold it for 3 minutes. Check it out. So I'm on the other side, everybody. This is my ugly side, but she's getting better. Again, you want to keep the knees stacked. My left knee is on top of my right knee, period. Because my left shoulder does not want to load, it doesn't want to do its work. The left elbow wants to bend in order to compensate. So this is what I was talking about with the hands and knees move on the floor. For a shoulder that doesn't want to work, you're going to see that problem as a chain reaction down the arm. That's why sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the time, when people complain, I have pain here in my foot or here in my shoulder, I'll go to the completely opposite side of the body to help adjust it. Pain and things don't usually show up right where the source is. The problem is usually a world away. Great, come on out, everybody. I'm gonna give you a doozy. We're going to do the crocodile. It's another twisty move. You're gonna be okay. In the crocodile, you're laying on your back. I'm going to stand up just so I can show you what's going on with the feet. You're going to bring your arms out to a T, palms face down, lay on your back. I'm going to put my right foot on top of my left toes. So we're going to end up looking like this. Then we're going to twist the lower half of the body to the left, leaving the shoulders on the floor. Do not push into the ground using your arms. So this is work for your hips and your torso. Going to see how you guys get that done. So I'm laying on the ground. This is not an easy move. This one's a toughie. If you cannot stay with me, do the best you can. Arms out to a T, palms face down. My right foot's going on top of my left. I can put my Achilles tendon between my first and second toe. If you can, go for it. If it's too uncomfortable, put shoes on. Here's the work. Thighs stay tight, butt squeezes. Rotate your lower half to the left. I make that look so easy. It's not. It's not. Avoid pushing through the ground using your hands. Avoid bending your knees to get the twist. Your bottom knee is going to want to bend so badly. Don't let it. So again, my right foot was on top. I twist to the left. Right foot's on top. I twist to the left. Thighs tight, everybody. Butt squeezes. 30 more seconds. Check in with your knees. If you can push your heels away from you and pull your toes towards you and you've got some movement, you were cheating. I told you, your body is working on being efficient. It's trying its best to save energy. These are big posture muscles we're trying to wake up here. It's their job to create these movements. But unfortunately, the body has done a flip-flop. Come on out. Everybody feel that one? It might be easier or harder on the other sides. Check it out. Palms face down, arms to a T. Left foot goes on top. Get the stack. Toes touch your heel. Tighten your thighs. Squeeze your butt. Twist. That side's a little tough. Oh, this is going to be a long minute. That's because of all of the shutdown that occurred on my left side because of that shoulder. Oh boy, no help at all. Some of you have it out there a little bit easier on this side, maybe. Maybe it was tougher on the other side. 30 more seconds, Kim, come on, you could do it. I am squeezing my butt cheeks and tightening both of my thighs, and this is so difficult. Never used to be. And it looks so bad. Like I can't twist very good at all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on out. Oh, beautiful. Let's do a couple of pelvic tilts, 10 to be exact. Just going to reset the pelvis. Hook lying position, please. Both feet are flat on the floor. You can leave the arms resting, relaxed. Don't do anything cool with your arms, just leave them relaxed. And then tuck your pelvis under, arch your pelvis back. I'm really rocking my pelvis back and forth in each direction as far as I can go while keeping my butt on the floor. I'm keeping my tailbone attached to the floor. This is not a bridge. I don't want you to activate your quadriceps, and I don't want you to start lifting. Quads will be active a little bit, but it's not a push-up. It's a back and forth rocking. That's it. Fantastic. As promised, we're going to use some blocks or pillows. Blocks or pillows. I want everybody to take that pillow or block, put it right between your knees. I am going to grab my roll again because I'm in the hook lying position. I do like to keep that lower back arch in place. We're going to squeeze the block. I'm going to do it for 2 minutes. Don't even bother counting. 2 minutes. Here we go. Think thigh master. Squeeze, release. I'm applying a little bit of pressure onto the pillow and letting it go. You don't want to kill it here. We're going for balance. We are going for balance, friends. I'm not trying to kill it. I'm not giving 100% effort. In fact, I'm going a little bit stronger than 50% because it feels good. Usually go for 50%. There's a lot that we're going after with this move, depending on what exercises we've done before, what exercises we do after will determine what we're going after with the move. So I could use this move to help rebalance. I could use this move as a strengthening move. We could use this move to help pull the pelvis into an anterior tilt. We can use this move to even rebalance the shoulders. Making left side work symmetrically to the right side. That's what we're going after. Some moves have a lot of objectives. So it's rebalancing while it's strengthening. You can't avoid one or the other. But I hope you can feel, for the most part, we're not going after any butt exercises here. This is all about front of the hip, inner thigh, hip flexor, which is the iliopsoas, what we're going after here. Great, take a break. Take the block out. I'm actually going to get into some rotation. I'm going to leave my little roll underneath me. I'm going to do knee drops. I am going to separate my feet wider than hip distance. You don't have to. You could check it out. Give me 5 in one direction and then check it out a little bit wider, a little bit narrower. See what it does to your hips. I'm going to drop the knees back and forth. All the while, I'm going to keep my feet pointing straight ahead and keep them parallel to each other. As we do this move, your feet are going to want to evert. So every 5 or so, double check that your feet stay parallel. One of my clients loves to pivot on her heels because her hips don't work anymore. So she picks her toes up. I want to punch her. Stop it. Put your feet down. So some part of your toes are going to have contact with the floor throughout the exercise. I've got my pinky toes on one side and my big toes on the other side. I don't want you to lift the balls of the feet off of the floor and pivot off of your heels. Granted, you guys are staying with your feet on the floor. I don't have too many clients that are so weak that they can't walk themselves around. So I'm pretty sure you guys probably have no problem keeping your toes on the floor. So you do want to keep one side on the floor. As you rock back and forth, you get the idea. I want you guys to eye up your straps because we're going to be using them. And we can use that knee pillow squeeze as a functional test because we're going to head right back to it right now. Get your strap or your belt, wherever the heck it is. I want you to grab that sucker. You're going to put the belt around your ankles. We're going to add on to that knee pillow squeeze, everybody. So if you want to see what the knee drops did for your knee pillow squeeze, give it a shot. Check it out now. You can put that block right between your knees again, and you can give it a squeeze and see, is this easier? Is it more balanced? What happened? That's a way to check your exercises, see what's best for you. So I put the strap around my ankles and I tightened it up so that my feet still stay hip distance. They're still hip distance, ladies and gentlemen. Hip distance. You don't want them to be wider than that. You don't want them to be narrower. Hip distance. Okay. So we're adding on. My feet are still parallel. Do the best you can. Feet stay parallel. The feet are not going to move in this exercise. You're probably going to want to move them, but don't. This is an exercise for your hips. You're going to apply pressure on the block. At the same time, you're going to apply pressure on the straps. The ankles push out on the strap while the knees squeeze in on the block, and then let it go. And then do it again. And then let it go. And do it again. And let it go. You want this to become a simultaneous motion, but it may not be for you. You might have to, oh, darn it, what's the word I'm looking for? Not sequence. Segment. You may have to segment it. So if you notice, if you push out on the strap, the knees automatically want to go in anyway. So you can push out on the strap and then push in on the block and then release. Push out on the strap, in on the block, release. And after maybe 20 or so, this might get to be more simultaneous. Remember, I don't want your feet to evert. Tendency is when you start pushing out on the strap, people start using their ankles and their toes, and they do this with their feet. They come out and out and no, this is not movement for your feet. This is not a workout for your feet. You're probably going to feel it in your feet because the arches are going to fire up, but this should be done from the hips. Everybody feel that? Maybe in the front of their hip here, right where their front pocket would be. But really what we're going for here, if you notice, the femurs are starting to internally rotate. We are now in the strengthening portion of this routine, but I don't want you to kill it. Try to keep your effort somewhere around 50%. This might be a tough exercise for you. Again, if this is giving you pain, you can stop it. You can do just the knee pillow squeezes without the strap. You could do this sitting in a chair. You don't have to do this laying down. If you're bedridden, you could do this laying in a bed, absolutely. This does not have to be done laying down. I am going to add on to this though, and test yourself. If this does not work out for you, if this doesn't feel right, please don't do it. We're going to add the lift to it. And we're going to hold that for, no, we're not going to hold. Bad wording there, Kim. We're going to continue our reps for 1 minute. So apply the pressure on the block, on the strap, lift your feet 2 to 6 inches off the floor and lower back down. All that's coming from the hips. Do not do that from your knees. So I'm not extending my knees to pick my feet up off of the floor. No, I'm pulling my knees towards my chest. Don't go too high, everybody, because once you hit a certain point past 90 degrees, other muscles start turning on. So I want you to lift 2 to 6 inches. All the while, we're keeping that pressure on the block and on the strap. Good luck. Wow. I wonder if you guys feel as asymmetrical as I do. You got one hip flexor working a lot on this side, the other one's working just a little bit. It's crazy. You feel a whole lot on the one side, not so much on the other. And you guys can do yourself a favor and do this for 5 minutes and check it out, see how it feels. But we don't have that much time today. So if you're watching this video later on in the week because you really like the routine, maybe give yourself a little bit extra. If you get these moves as a therapy, you're usually doing 3 sets of 20. Now I'm going to switch. I'm going to put the strap up at my knees, just above my knees, sliding it up, and I'm going to put the block right down by my ankles and feet. Again, make sure that your knees are hip distance, really important. Every time I say that, I feel like I have to turn towards the camera. Hip distance, it's about the length of a dollar bill. That's it. This routine is the double-double and the double-double switch. I don't know how they came up with those. Silly names, huh? Okay. You're going to apply pressure on the strap so the knees push out. Same time, your ankles in step, heel, big toe, all that's going to slide in on the block over and over and over again. Good luck. I'm going to leave you here for 2 minutes. Okay, tendency to go wrong here and lose form is doing what I call the monkey foot, where your ankle rolls out and the very bottoms of your feet start squeezing the block or the pillow. Don't do that. Feet stay flat on the floor. Think of it more like a glide, as if your feet are on ice. They're staying flat. You're gliding them in towards each other. You may feel the muscles in the arch of the feet start to turn on, yes, but this is all hip work, or should be all hip work. If you need to segment it, segment it. Knees out, feet in, relax. Knees out, feet in, relax. It will eventually become a simultaneous motion, but not at first for everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying this. One of my longtime students, excellent woman, she loves what this does for her. Toyota. Only you older people like me will get that. She's a dentist. She loves how this rearranges and strengthens her hips so that her shoulder feels better. Some moves that I wouldn't even know to give somebody and say, hey, you know what, this will definitely help. I really need that feedback from my clients and my students. I need the feedback from the body. So I know a few moves. I go, okay, I know this will fix that and this will fix that. And then I give it to the body and I see, okay, what's the feedback? Did this change? Did this adjust? It's all about feedback. Here comes the lift, everybody. We're going to do this for 1 minute. Give it a try. If it doesn't feel right, keep your feet on the floor. Don't lift. So the pressure on the strap, pressure on the block, lift, lower. 2 to 6 inches. That's it, my friends. Whoa. Okay, Kim. I feel my left butt cheek turning on like mad. That's a new one. Too much bicycle. Anybody caught me bicycle riding around Levittown? Some of you like, hey, I saw you here. Hey, I saw you there. Oh, I'm riding everywhere. Riding everywhere. Which means there's a lot of quadriceps work, not a whole lot of work in the glutes. So when I get back to moves like this, which are really focusing on the glutes, believe it or not, they really turn on hard. I hope everybody's feeling something similar. As the knees press out, we're asking the outside edges of the legs, the glutes, all these external rotators to kick on. Fantastic. All right, take a break, everybody. Let's take all this crud off. Put it off to the side for now. Give you a nice, easy one. We're going to go right back to frog. The soles of the feet touch, the knees drop out. We're going to hang out here for 1 minute. If you want to give yourself another functional test, hey, we were here earlier, right? So go ahead and check it out. What do my pullovers feel like now? What do they feel? Oh, hitting the wall. I'm going a lot lower, hitting the wall. So check it out. We did an awful lot of hip work. And you might notice, wow, my shoulders are moving differently than they were earlier. And we didn't do a whole lot of stretching or exercises for the arms and shoulders. We did all of this work into the hips. I told you everything's connected. This is a good one. Wow, this one feels more uncomfortable for me now because of all the glute work we just did. Feels like it's hanging on, ready to come into a cramp. Anybody else feel that? I think I need some knee drops. So I'm just going to bend my knees and come back into that knee drop situation. Oh, that's what I need. Okay. I'm just going to do a few of these. You might need these as well. If that left glute, it just wants to cramp up on me. Not a bad thing. That's what you get for bike riding and bike riding and bike riding. And I will be honest, I did not do my Egoscue. I just woke up and went, I'm going to ride. Yeah. There you go. Okay, everybody, I'm going to have you stand up. We're going to do another functional test. Take your time getting up there, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to come against the wall right where we started and just check it out. What's different? Ooh, nice. I love coming right back to the wall and feeling that change. It's so satisfying. Things might have gotten worse. Things might get better. Does everybody feel that you're now bringing a different body to the wall than you were before? Grab your pens. Okay, this is very interesting. We're going to work on proprioception. Proprioception, that's your body's ability to sense itself in space. That means balance or imbalance. Maybe you'll fall over. So if you feel like, whoops, I might have a hard time doing this, you're going to hang on to a chair or put your fingers on a wall. We're going to start out with our pen. I want you guys to just stand neutral. I'm going to take my pen and put it at eye height. And I'm just looking at the tip of the pen. This is tough to do because you're holding the pen and you know which direction you're going to take it. But I want you to do your best to keep your eyes focused on the tip of the pen. Keep your head still. We're going to move the pen up and down. Go as high as you can while still staying focused on the pen, all the way up and all the way down. If you start losing that focus, or if it starts going double, you've moved out of the range of working. I want you to stay within the working range. Once it goes double or goes blurry, we've lost it. Good. Now we're going to go left and right. Keep your head still. Sometimes if I hold a finger on my chin, it's a good reminder to keep my head still and my eyes will move only. And that's what we're going after for this exercise. Now we're going to go on a diagonal. I'm going upper right, lower left. Do not move your head. That's coming up next, but for now, we're just moving the eyes. This is a warm up, and it's also going to be a cool down. Upper right, lower left. Just 3 times is sufficient. Now we're going to go upper left, lower right. Go slowly enough so that you could stay focused. My pace might be a little too fast for you. Move only with your eyes. Okay, here's where the work comes. Now, I'll give you the option to take a challenging foot position. If this is too challenging, just come back with your feet straight. You'll just do 2 rounds. I'm going to come into the tandem foot position, which is right foot in front, left foot in back, and the toes touch the heels. This is very challenging. If you feel like you're going to fall over here already, hang on to something like chair or wall. We're going to stay focused on something eye level straight ahead. Now the eyes stay in place and the head moves. Got that? Eyes stay focused on that spot, smear on the wall or a piece of dirt or a nail. the head moves. Turn your nose up towards the ceiling and bring it back to center. Up to the ceiling, back to center. Again, the eyes stay focused on whatever that is right in front of you, eye level. First ones are easy. Now we're going to go down and come back up. It's almost like a gentle head nod. Go down and come back up. Eyes stay straight ahead. Down and come back up. Here we go. We're turning to the right now. Eyes stay focused straight ahead. This is where we might feel like we're going to fall over because the vision is going to switch between both of the eyes as the nose comes in the way. Now we're going to turn to the left. Good luck. Keep the eyes straight ahead. Eyes straight ahead. If you feel like you're going to fall, hang on to something. Feel like you're going to barf, don't do this exercise. It's a lot of work. Now we're going to go top right. Breathe, everybody. Funny thing is, we're not doing a whole lot of work, but the nervous system is working like crazy right now. I'm going to go top left now. Just going 3 times. Turn the head, keep the eyes in the same spot. Keep focusing on whatever that is you're looking on. Whoa. Whatever it is. Stay focused on it. I'm going to go bottom left. Make sure you stay focused on that thing. If it starts getting blurry, you're working out of the range. Stay within your working range. Bottom right. Over and over. Keep your eyes dead ahead. Fantastic. Shake it off. We're going to switch the legs, everybody. Plenty of time. So if you weren't able to do the tandem stance and it was a little too much for you, you're just going to do it again with your feet straight ahead. Everybody else, we're switching. We got to do the other side. Okay, find that spot that you were staring at. Keep your eyes on it. We're just going to go up with the nose and back to center. This is the easy one. Up with your nose, back to center. Up, back to center. Now I'm going down. Back to center. Whoa, side's a little different. Down, back to center. Down, back to center. Here we go. Left, center. Left, center. Left, center. Now we're going to go right and center. When I worked in Synergy, we had these crazy Bosu bowls. There were so many of them. And my students got so good, they said, can we do this while we stand on the Bosu bowl? And so they did. We're going to go top left, diagonal, and back to center. Keep breathing. You might notice that you're holding your breath because the nervous system is working very hard. It's trying to sense the body in space, feel what's going on, send the signals. Bottom left. Again, I'm turning my nose, turning my head, but leaving my eyes dead ahead. Can't tell you how many times I've caught students moving their eyes. Their body has gotten into this pattern and it just can't break free. It will eventually. Top right, just takes a little practice. Keep breathing. And bottom right. Lovely. We take our cool down. Grab your pen, stand normally. I'm going to do that same routine that we did to start with. Look at the tip of the pen, keep your head still, move the eyes only. We're going up as far as we can while still staying focused and down. Stay focused, no doubles, no blur. Keep it in that focused range. Come back to center. I'm moving left and right. Move the eyes, keep the head still. I'm passing right through the center line. Right through the center line. All the way right, all the way left. Move your eyes, keep your head still. Now a diagonal, pick one. You don't need me to tell you, I'm doing top left, to bottom right. Go slow enough so you can stay focused. Now the last diagonal. At the end of class, I'm sorry everybody doesn't have a Bosu. We got in the habit of standing on the Bosu, turning the lights out, playing beautiful calming music, and closing the eyes. So everyone practiced closing your eyes while you stood on a very unstable surface. And they got really, really good at it. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, they must have been young. Nope. 72, 74, no excuses. No excuses. All right, everybody. Fantastic. Oh, we didn't use our chair. Well, we're gonna now. I want everybody to lay down. We're gonna get into static back. I'm just gonna relax there and focus on our breathing. I'm gonna stay here for a few minutes. If you cannot get on your back, you can sit nice and squarely in a chair. If your shoulders are rounding forward and your head is starting to tilt backwards, I want you to put a pillow underneath your head. You want the head to stay nice and neutral. And give this a good 3-4 minutes. All right, everybody. I'm going to turn your palms up, leave your arms out at 45-degree angles or so. When I put your arms in a position so your shoulders feel like they're resting back and down without any active focus on doing that. You just want gravity to do it. And as you breathe, I want you to breathe down into the pelvis. It's almost as if you're breathing the skin of your lower back into the floor. I want you to breathe deep down. It's different than breathing using your belly. Your belly is gonna help, but I don't just want the front of your belly doing the work. This is going to help kick on the diaphragm in the back and the sides as well as the front. So breathe down into the pelvis and just see where you're at. Now I want you to focus on the left side of the body. We're going to do something called lateral breathing, and then focus on the right side of the body. If you cannot feel your breath, you might want to put your hands on either side of your rib cage. So we want to breathe laterally. You want to breathe as if the left and right sides of your body are expanding out to the sides of the room. Try and push your left and right rib cages out using your breath. Left and right obliques, just feel them. Now we're going to switch the breath again. I want you to feel like you're breathing into a box, and there's the top and the bottom of the box. So there's the belly, the chest, and then there's the back. So I want you to breathe into both sides at the same time. So your back feels like it's going into the ground, and your chest and belly feels like it's going up to the sky. Lovely, everyone. Now we're going to breathe into the length of the body, a north-south breath. So down into your pelvis, but also out through the top of your head, out through your throat. So breathe some length into the body, along the spine. Down and out through your coccyx, and up and out through your head. What we're doing to achieve this is actually we're constricting certain parts of the body and stopping it from moving. And now for our last round of breathing, I want you to get a 3-dimensional breath. Your left side, your right side, your front, your back, your top, your bottom, everywhere. Breathe into everywhere. Get expansion. Think like Alice in Wonderland. You're taking up space in the room, expanding out beyond the house, getting really big. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much for joining me today. It's a little different than it was the past couple of weeks. It just felt like it needed to be. I hope you enjoyed that routine. If you have any questions and you're watching this after it's been filmed, please leave those questions, comments, concerns in the comment section. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you so much for joining me.